Bring him in. Bring him in. We are back. Fantasy Flourish, episode 2 of the Home League series we're doing here today. We were going to do power rankings, but I think it would be a little too hard to do power rankings. I was expecting, Matt, to have at least 3 to 4 teams that I really didn't like after the draft, but I don't really see any teams that I think are like extremely bad. So I think it would be really hard to do power rankings. So we're just going to go team by team here through the 10 teams. We're going to talk about our thoughts on those teams. And then during the season, when we do our in-season episodes after each week, we can do power rankings based off the week before because we'll at least have some sort of win-loss to go on or something. But I think it would be a little bit hard to do that now. But overall, I think the draft was pretty good, man.
Yeah, I agree, except for this first team we're going to go over. But yeah, everybody else's team, I do agree. It'll actually be competitive, which is good.
Yeah, this might be the most competitive that this league has been in a long time. I think the just because we're doing this podcast, I think people brought their A game to the draft because I wasn't expecting to have a bunch of teams that I liked, but that appears to be the case. But we're gonna go in order of the draft, and we're gonna start out. So start out with the first pick, which was Snake. We have his roster up on the screen here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Matt, overall thoughts on Snake's team to start us off here?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we were correct about the first overall pick, Jonathan Taylor. We said it was controversial. Could have been Barkley, could have been McCaffrey, but he went back to the well that we all knew he would. Jonathan Taylor. Um, I know he's super excited about Josh Jacobs after the draft. He said he's a stud and he's got him on the bench, but I don't know. But no, it's. I mean, Mahomes, CD, Deontay, Thielen, can't complain. I mean, I guess if Josh Jacobs is your RB4, like I would be okay with that. Um, Godwin on the bench. Dubs is probably going to be a beast. Olave is probably going to be a beast because last time Jameis, like he did support two top five receivers in Evans and Godwin the one year that he had his 30-30 year, I believe. Yeah, no issues with old Snake's team.
Yeah, I think he could have stacked Mahomes with someone like he could have grabbed Kelsey, which I think would have been good. But overall, pretty good team. Um, Godwin, I think it was smart to grab Godwin because he really likes Thielen this year. I'm a little more iffy on that, but he'll just be able to plug Godwin into that third receiver spot if stuff with Thielen doesn't go good, and then
Yep.
a lot's going to hinge on Montgomery and Fournette. I mean, and Jacobs. I don't know. I don't really like any of those guys. Fournette, I think, is fine, which you agree with. The problem with him is just he could get hurt, which anybody could get hurt. But if he does get hurt, Montgomery, I don't know, bad team. There's talk of Khalil Herbert jumping him as they move on into the season because they're going to be moving on from David Montgomery in the future. And then Jacobs, I mean, it's just clear that the coaching staff does not like Josh Jacobs. I mean, they were running him into the third quarter in the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame game. So
yeah, I know they don't like him, and like I said, if he's my fourth or fifth running back, like I don't mind that. But if he's gonna have to end up being like the number two on his team behind Jonathan Taylor, then it gets a little hairy.
yeah, he might have to make a move. I got a stable of running backs. Actually, I traded one of my running backs last night, which we'll talk about when we get to my team. But that does it for Snake's team. So we'll move on here, and we'll talk about the second pick, which was my dad. Normally, one of the I would say worst fantasy players in the league, but I think he did make the playoffs last year, so he's riding a little hot streak here. What do you think? I was expecting to hate his team, but I don't think it's terrible. He threw us a loop here. Said he was taking Cooper Cup. He did not take Cooper Cup. He took Christian McCaffrey. But what do you think about his strategy of the four tight ends here?
I guess I didn't even notice that. I
he's
mean,
got,
so
he's
his
got
starting
four
lineup
tight
is
ends.
his starting lineup is fine. I don't know about Mike Davis as the flex. That's where it starts to get a little bit bad. We know we love the Kenny Galladay pick. Like you said, Herbert could take over the backfield. Fields actually looked good. against the Browns in that preseason game. I think Ertz could be one of the top tight ends this year. I think what was he after he went to Arizona, like tight end 6 or 5 or something like that. Um, Depth probably an issue, but if he runs super pure and everybody stays healthy, he probably would make the playoffs, I would say.
Depth is definitely an issue with the outside of tight end. I mean, he's got tight end on lock. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't expect to like his team, but in all honesty, Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy for 16, 17 games, like that alone can win you weeks
That's
by
it's
himself.
worth 2.5 players
Right.
essentially.
So that's fine. I do think Dallas Goedert's solid. Juju, I think, is gonna have a big year. That was a good pick. Um,
Yep.
Brady's
We did
Brady,
say in
but
the middle of the
wait, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we did say in the middle of the draft that he always gets his guys. Doesn't
Oh
matter
yes,
where in the draft, he's always getting his guys, which you can't fault him for
yeah.
that.
I think he took David Njoku in like the fifth round or something. I mean, something just crazy.
Let me. Yeah, he
He
did.
yeah,
He did take Njoku in the
he
fifth
gets
round.
his guys, bro. He wants who he wants, and he gets them. But I think Juju was a good pick. Brady's Brady, but I don't know their line's banged up.
Yep.
I'm a little weary of that, but overall,
Wow, he went.
decent team.
Njoku was the second. Sorry, Njoku was the second pick in the fifth round. Waller was the fourth pick in that round, and Kittle was the 10th pick. So
Yes, he took David
interesting
Njoku
strat, but
over George Kittle over Darren Waller. This is he's taking a stand on the Joker this year.
yep, that's for sure.
But yeah, and then the Galladay for you for those of you that don't know and like that weren't in the Discord, but we were drafting and I don't even know why Snake wanted Kenny Galladay with his last pick, but he had the last pick in the draft, the Mr. Irrelevant pick, and Mike had the pick right before him, and he took Kenny Galladay. And I've never like the reaction out of Snake upon getting sniped on Kenny Galladay. It was like unlike anything I've ever heard. It was like he was so mad about it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah, I would say this is one of the weaker teams in the league. But I mean, if Christian McCaffrey does what he does, he's going to be in the mix for sure. We will move to the third pick,
Yep.
which was
Definitely.
Matt himself. Matt, I'll let you break your team down a little bit here, but obviously one of the stronger teams in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, expecting to get Christian McCaffrey, had planned around that. Obviously didn't happen, so I had to pivot. Got Justin Jefferson, which I think we said in our first episode that like I was in the golden spot, like I'm gonna get Jefferson, Taylor, or McCaffrey. I wanted McCaffrey out of all three, but I'm not gonna complain with Jefferson. I think second round pick was Kamara, and then I don't think I've ever had Travis Kelce, and he was just sitting there at the top of the third round, and I thought that was way too good a value to not take him. Uh, so secured tight end for the year. ETN I like a lot. A Rob, hopefully Stafford stays healthy. Hollywood, I think he's going to feast with Kyler just chucking up bombs. AJ Dillon, I think we hit on in an earlier episode that we like. Ayuk is getting a lot of talk out of San Francisco. Trey Lance, I was happy to get Trey Lance. I think I have him in every league that I'm in, so all my eggs are in that basket. I did take Brian Robinson in whatever round, and literally 30 seconds later, the report comes out that he gets shot. I think Jack was like, "Oh, what happened to Brian Robinson?" I was like, "Oh, I just drafted him because I thought he had him in his queue and couldn't believe somebody took him where they did." And he's like, "No, he just got shot." I'm like, "Oh, you're
Uh-huh.
lying to me."
Yeah,
So yeah, hopefully
good
he's all
thoughts
good.
to
He
Brian
comes back.
Robinson, but I mean that was
Yeah,
like insane timing. And
it was literally like 30 seconds after
yeah,
I
it was
hit
insane.
draft.
On cue, Snake is calling me right now. I wish we could patch him into this to this audio so you guys could hear this. I'm not gonna answer, but he is calling me. I told you he was gonna call me during this. I knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with the team. I would have liked to get maybe another solid running back or so. I mean, I got the handcuff with Mark Ingram and Kamara in case something goes haywire with Kamara getting suspended. Dylan will be fine. Like Ben said, I can always go get one of his running backs in his stable. But James Cook, I think I'm excited about. We'll see what happens with Penny and Walker in Seattle. But overall, I think I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, good team. I've had Kelsey the last few years, so that's probably why you haven't had him. But yeah, I'm a big like I think in like unless like if you're not playing like one of those huge tour, like if you're just playing in like a league with people, I think like getting one of the top tight ends is actually like something you should do because it's so like there's such a difference in the ceiling from the top 3 to 4 guys compared to the guys you're gonna get later on. So I do think it's a good move to get like the top tight end. So I think that's a good thing. But
Yep.
overall, I mean, I like your team a lot. It's pretty strong. Who picked fourth? All right, Allen is next up. So not making his league debut, but was not in the league previously. I think he was in the league 1 year. We did like a weird league in 2020. We did like 14 teams, and that was the year that Jordan won. So he kind of has like I don't know. You can't really count it. It's like half a championship because it was like the COVID year. Like it's not like he won like on a real year, which I can't really talk because I haven't won one yet. But that's like not the one I would want to win. But overall, I was impressed with Allen's drafting here. I think he did a good job. He took a lot of guys that I thought would just slip down to me on that way back through the round. Like Hurts, I think could be the number 1 quarterback. Great pick. Michael Pittman Jr. Great pick. Gabe Davis, great pick. The only issue I really have with this team, which it's not like an issue, but it's just like 2 running backs that have question marks, right? Like Eckler could be very, very good, but I don't think he's going to score as many touchdowns as he did last year. And I do think that like they're going to ease his workload down a little bit, right? Like he got so many goal line carries last year, and I don't think he wants to do that, he himself. So I think it's tough to expect that. And then Najee, I mean, like this is nothing against Najee, the player in real life. It's just not someone that I like a lot this season. So if he can get like production from like first round production from those 2 running backs, which could happen, he could have a really, really strong team.
Yeah, and Najee was on a free fall in this league. Like he went the 207. So what is that? The 17th pick, something like that. So I think he like sort of had to take him there. He took him right before I took Kamara. So personally, I'd probably rather take Kamara. But I'm probably gonna still take Najee before like Chubb or Fournette or one of those guys. Um, but I think like for what Najee could be, insane value at the 17th overall pick.
Yeah, I agree. I would have taken him there probably. It's just like I don't know. Like I feel like a month ago he was going like first round, but he's one of the guys that has kind of been slipping, and then like you said, he slipped in our draft. Depth, I
Yeah,
guess, is a little bit. The bench is a question mark though. I don't really love anyone on his bench here.
we both think Ramondre is going to be the guy in
Yeah, I
New
like
England.
Ramondre better.
Christian Kirk will probably be the alpha in Jacksonville, but that ain't saying much. This is more of like a boomer bust team.
Yeah, if he stays
Like you
healthy, his
said,
team is
Hurts.
going to be top like 4, I
Yeah,
would say for sure.
Hurts could be like you said, the number one
Hertz
overall
could
quarterback,
like be the
or
number
he could
1 and
get
it could like not even be close, or it could
yeah, or
be
he could get benched. Like,
right, right.
and then like Gabe Davis, I know he popped off for whatever that game was at the end of the year, and Pittman's got Matt Ryan. I mean, I think Pittman's going to be good, but like he's a high upside at receiver, going to get a step back from Eckler, who'll still be good. Najee, like you said, question marks. Darren Waller, I think we've talked about him, maybe not on the show, but just in general, like what's Adams going to do to the targets that he commanded before he was there?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, depth also is a concern. So
All right, we'll move on here to the 5th pick. This is Swarley, our boy. He's been in the league for a few years. One of the smarter guys in the league, I would say. Overall, like his team. It was a slam dunk. He was going to get Javonte Williams. He is a Broncos fan. He infamously has Broncos tattoos tattooed on him.
wait,
So he was. Wait, did he not pick 5th?
wait, who's Mr. Unlimited?
Yeah,
Mr. Unlimited was 5th.
yeah, that's Swarley.
He didn't get Javonte though, did he?
Yeah,
No, he didn't.
I'm like 90% sure he has Javonte on his team because I'm looking at it.
Wait, Eric is the people's champ.
Yes, that he picked 6th.
Oh, what am I doing?
All right.
I'm looking at
I
the
have
wrong
his
order.
team
My
on this
bad.
one. So
My
we got
bad.
yeah, Dalvin Cook, Javonte. It was a slam dunk. He was getting Javonte because he's a Broncos fan. He has the Justin Herbert, Mike Williams stack, which is good. Devontae, I don't know if Devontae, like, you can expect him to be the number one receiver like he was in Green Bay, but I mean, he still should be good, right? I mean, playing with this college quarterback, you're going to get production out of him. Allen Lazard
Yep.
is the number one for Green Bay. I don't know if that's good or bad, but he is. Swarley reached a little bit on Dalton Schultz, so I haven't talked to him about the draft because I haven't seen him, but he must like really have a stand on Dalton Schultz because not reached, but like he like made sure he got Dalton Schultz. So he
Yep.
must really like him this year.
Looks like we got a guest here on the show. This is
Oh yeah,
Zoe.
like that's good luck typically. So maybe that's good luck for Swarley's team. Might be a big year. And then Chase Edmonds, I think, is solid as well.
Yep.
I think he's
I
gonna. I mean,
agree.
they paid him to be the guy. They paid him on the first day of free agency. Um, so overall, good team for Swarley. I think I don't really
Yeah.
have issues. And then he handcuffed Javante, so he has Melvin Gordon on the bench as well.
Yeah. I like Robert Woods as well. I haven't like Singletary. I mean, I don't know what that backfield's going to look like in Buffalo, but it's a fine plug and play guy for a bye week or whatever. But if something happens to Cook or Moss or whoever up there, then Singletary would definitely be the guy. He had a good ending to last year. And if Julio's healthy, like I'm sure they'll manage his pitch count a little bit, but I mean he could still be a solid receiver in that offense, I think, like as a third option.
I know like
But
some smart people have told me they think Mike Williams jumps Keenan Allen this year, for what that's worth. And then yeah, Traylon Burks I think is interesting. Um, I don't know how good he's going to be as a rookie, but I feel like they're gonna have to throw to him, right? I mean, they don't have much else other than Woods to throw to. They don't throw to Derrick
yep,
Henry. They don't typically throw to their running backs in general. So I do think he'll get like a lot of targets. Um,
yep.
we'll just see what he can do with it. But overall, pretty solid team. No issues there. Next up is the People's Champ. That is Eric, defending champion. Didn't really know where he was going to go with that pick. I thought he would take Derrick Henry, but he did not. So he went back to, well, once Cooper Kupp was there, I knew he was going to take Cooper Kupp because he had Cooper Kupp last year and that won him the title. But we were kind of thinking that Cooper Kupp would be gone before it got to him. So he went back to Cooper Kupp. Aaron Jones, I think, is solid. The Lamar and Andrews stack, I think, is really good. You and I have that in a couple dynasty leagues that we
Mm-hmm.
managed together. McLaurin, I think, is always good. I don't have any issues there. Question marks, I guess, would just be like Amari Cooper. Like, what can you get from him? Not that I don't think he's good, but it's just that whole Browns offense in general,
Yeah,
with no
11 weeks.
Watson, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
Mooney. I do think will be the guy, but Chicago's just so bad. I didn't want to draft any Chicago players, and then James Conner. I mean, he's gonna get work, but I don't know.
He's
I
not going to
kind of
score 18 touchdowns
Yeah,
this year.
I agree. I kind of like. I think Eno might take over there, like as they move on throughout the season. But we'll see. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with the starting lineup. I guess there's some a lack of depth with running back, like you said, question marks with Connor. I know we both like Jones, but I mean they are going to split time with him and Dylan, um, but no issues there. But like Cordero Patterson, he ain't doing near that this year again. Like 1,100 yards from scrimmage and 11 touchdowns, absolutely not. That's just a one hit wonder in my opinion. Pollard might end up being his second or third best running back, depending on what Connor does. Mostert, I don't know. Like I'm sure he could be fine, but that's just a crowded backfield, Miami too. So I think lack of running back depth. I don't hate the wide receivers either, but like you said, it's just what are you going to get from Amari for the first 11 weeks till Watson's back?
Yeah, I think he definitely has depth issues at running back because like I don't think Patterson's gonna do what he did last year either. And then Pollard, it's contingent on Zeke getting injured, and then Mostert I think is contingent on Chase Edmonds getting injured. So
Yep.
he really only has two. I mean, he'll be able to play Cordell Patterson as long as he's healthy. It's just he's not gonna be great. So you really only have two running backs that you feel good about heading into the season. But yeah, I mean, I think if he stays healthy, his team will be solid. Devontae Smith, I think, was a good pick. I think the Eagles are going to throw more than people think. So I think both he and AJ Brown are going to have good seasons.
Yep.
All right, seventh pick was Mando, former champion. My brother, he really wanted Jamar Chase. He got him. I think that's a good pick. So I think if I couldn't get if I had a top 6, 7 pick and I couldn't get one of Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, I would probably take Jamar Chase. Like I think Jamar Chase is right there with Cooper Kupp, in my opinion. So that's probably who I would take. That's a good move. He stacked him with Joe Burrow, which is good. A little bit of a reach on Debo, but he loves Debo and he wanted to get him, so I think that's fine. Keenan Allen's solid. His question marks come down to running back. So him and I made a trade. It's not reflected on these pictures here because it hasn't gone through yet. But he traded me Michael Thomas, and I traded him Rashad Penny. So he has Rashad Penny on his team along with Cam Akers and Eli Mitchell. He's stacked at wide receiver. It's just going to come down to what he gets from his running backs. Like Akers, I don't know. I'm a little concerned. We've just never seen a running back come back and be super good after an Achilles, but we'll see what happens. Mitchell, I think, is good. I do think he's the guy for San Fran, so I feel confident in that. But then he's just going to need to get stuff out of Akers and Ramondre, and then Rashad Penny as well.
Yeah, it's just you hit on Akers, but San Fran, like it. I know Mitchell had a good year last year. It could change week to week, like it has for the last couple of years. You never know. Like they would go from Mostert to Jeff Wilson Jr. and all that, and Mitchell last year, and tried Sermon for a game or two, and so he's just going to ride the hot hand. They have what they keep 4 or 5 running backs, so we'll see. Ramondre, like he has Damian Harris too. Like we think Ramondre is going to be the guy eventually, but you never know. And then Madison, clear backup. Gainwell, clear backup too. Yeah, it's just what does he get from Akers and Mitchell? Because I
I
don't think
I do think one of those running
receivers
backs will pop.
concern.
It's just like he'll probably be fine. Like he's going to have one that does good.
Yeah,
Like Stevenson, I think is going to start honestly week 1, and then they have Ty Montgomery, but I think he's going to be out for the first 4 weeks. So Ramondre's going to get all the pass catching stuff, and it's going to be contingent on how Ramondre plays those weeks that Ty Montgomery's out. Like how actually big his role is. Like he's going to be involved anyways, but if he plays really really good those first 4 weeks, like that's going to help his case
yep.
to get more pass catching work like throughout the season. But overall, pretty solid team, no issues. Next, picking 8th was Juck, former league champion. I don't have a ton of issues here. I don't think. I think his team is pretty solid. Kyler obviously can be good, one of the best quarterbacks. Pretty solid receivers. I mean, DK Metcalf, you can say what you want about the quarterback situation there, but when he's your third receiver, that kind of eases the concerns. And then you have like a Drake London and Sky Moore on the bench. One of those rookies will probably be decent. So overall, pretty solid. DeAndre Swift could be the number 1 running back in fantasy, so that was a good pick. Zeke,
We
I
hate
think,
on him every year,
yeah,
but
but
he's
he just
always
does
a
it, right? Like the
RB1.
days of
Yeah,
him being the number 1 running back are gone, but he still is probably going to be top 10 as long as he plays a full slate of games. And then he ran pure getting Gibson before Brian Robinson got
got
shot.
shot. Yeah,
So I think Gibson will be fine. And then J.K. Dobbins might miss like week 1, week 2, or just be limited. But overall, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to have a really good season, and he'll be able to slide him into that flex over Antonio Gibson. So overall, pretty decent team. And I think Michael Carter is going to start for the Jets, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, he'll definitely have a role. Like I don't think they're gonna unleash Brees the first couple weeks, and I mean, obviously Brees could have a game where he just completely goes off and solidifies himself as the guy. But for now, yeah, Michael Carter's fine. Like Sky Moore is just in one of the best situations you can be in. Drake London, there's nobody else there that catches the ball except Kyle Pitts. Yeah, Dobbins. I did see a video of Dobbins a couple of days ago where he was just doing like a blocking drill, and he's still limping pretty bad. So he might be more than a week or 2 away. But we'll see. Like, yeah, no issues with Swift. Kyler will be good until like October 28th when COD comes out. Um, yeah, DK I think would be the only
I think
question
tight
mark.
end, I
And
don't know. If I were Jack, I would be dropping like a DPJ
yep,
and picking up a tight end or I would just drop Mike Gesicki and pick someone up. I haven't looked at the waiver wire, but I don't want any parts of Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, and I don't think you need DPJ right now
No,
anyway.
I
Like
don't think
that
anyone
would
would pick him up. Although we do have some Browns
no.
fans in the league, so I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody would go pick
Let's
him
let
up.
me take a peek at
But
the waiver wire for tight
yeah,
ends real
who's there
quick.
for tight end?
Um uh, Noah Fant, Conklin, Taysom Hill. Jared Cook probably wouldn't be. I'd probably rather have Jared Cook
Oh yeah, I forgot that Mike has
than
5
Gesicki.
tight ends on his team, so
Yeah,
there's not going to be any tight ends to pick up. So that's
yeah.
great.
Albert O is on there. Probably that guy from what's his name? The other guy from Denver. I don't even know his
Oh
name,
yeah,
but we were
yeah.
talking about him a couple days ago.
I think I don't know. Alberto's fine. He's going to start.
Evan
Um,
Ingram's out there too.
yeah, I think
I
Evan
think
Ingram
he.
could have a good season, and then I think I don't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, I think Evan Ingram actually could have a good season, to be honest. But yeah, overall, pretty solid team. We'll move up to the 9th slot. That was my team. I got pretty much like anybody I wanted, I got, I think, for the most part, except for Michael Pittman Jr. That was the only time I was like hoping someone made it to me and they didn't. But overall, I got all the other guys that I wanted. Well, I wanted Jalen Hurts, but I knew I probably wasn't going to get him because he goes high. So I have the Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton stack. Jalen Waddle, I think, outscores Tyreek Hill this year. So I got him pretty late. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think, is going to be really good. Got him pretty late. And then I didn't want Derrick Henry, but he just like fell to me. Like I was hoping I could get like Dalvin Cook or something, but if I'm picking 9th and I know I can get Barkley on the way back, like I'm just going to take him. So I'm pretty confident in my running backs. Kyle Pitts, really like him this year. We were talking about like getting a high end tight end. I think Kyle Pitts could be a top 2 tight end. Damian Pierce, got him before the Marlon Mack news. Like he probably would have jumped up like 2 rounds if we had done that draft earlier. And then, as you can see on my bench, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Hopkins when he comes back. But yeah, I mean, I don't need to dive in too much here. I like my team because I got everybody that I wanted to get overall.
Yeah, you definitely got your guys, and I think some people would say like it would be a reach, like taking Sutton over Mike Williams or T Higgins or whatever. But I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying like general consensus would be like they might take a look and be like, oh, this is probably the worst team in the league, but I don't see that at all.
Yeah, I mean, like Russell Wilson, what has he done with DK
Right. No,
and
I'm
Lockett?
I'm with you.
I don't know. I think Sutton is going to be his guy, but we'll see.
I'm with you. I mean, your team also like high upside too, right? Like you have you know what you're going to get from Henry, but like
Yeah,
Sutton, Waddle, Sun God could all be like wide receiver ones. Barkley, we both think he could be the number 1 overall player in fantasy. Pitts could be and probably likely will be a top 2 tight end, at least top 3. Um,
yep. And then
Pierce, we both
dude,
like,
that's
and
why.
you have the Kansas City backfield too. So
Yeah, I have Pacheco down there too, so I'm pretty good in that. I think one of Palmer or like Dotson or McKenzie can pop. Tony, I think could
yep,
be good. I mean, Tony was. If you look at last year when Sterling Shepard was out, he was like a wide receiver 1. So I'm not
yep.
saying he's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year, but I do think like for where I got him at, which was like one of the last rounds, I think that was a solid pick. And then I traded for Michael Thomas, right? I think Michael Thomas can be good still. I'm hoping. I mean, if he's like anything close to what he used to be, and I mean, I don't know. I guess he'd be in the mix for like my flex probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy with my team. I got all the guys I wanted. And we'll finish up with Max making his league debut here, picking 10th. He didn't do it back to back, but he did get the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack. He got A.J. Brown, who I said I think is going to have a really good year. Joe Mixon is Joe Mixon, like you're going to get production out of him. I would say this is one of the thinnest teams, though. Like he's going to really need Breece Hall. Like Breece Hall, I don't think is going to start the year, so he's going to need to get some production out of like Kareem Hunt. Chase Claypool, I think can be good. And especially if they
Yeah.
play him in the slot. I mean, no real slot corners could cover him. George Kittle is what George Kittle is. Elijah Moore, I think, is a good pickup as well. So overall, not a bad team. Not one of the best teams. Not a bad team. It's going to depend on Breece Hall, and I don't know why he drafted Logan Woodside with his last pick, but
Yeah, he probably likes him in Madden or something.
yeah,
But
I don't
this
know
is not
understand this.
bad for your first ever fantasy football team. I have no issues. Maybe don't need 4 defensive players, but
Yeah, I don't. So we
totally
haven't talked
fine.
about that. I don't have it like it doesn't fit on the screen here, but so we don't do defense or kicker in this league. We do IDP. So you just have 2 defensive players that you play each week, and they can be any position. So some of the benches are like a little bit thinner because of people have 3 or 4 defensive players. We didn't mention that, but I just think it's a little more predictable, I would say, than like a kicker or like a team defense. I just don't like
Yep.
relying on that. I think I don't know, it's not fun.
Yep.
Overall, I think the draft was good though. Like I said, I was surprised with how good some of these teams were. If you had to make like a bold statement about the league, Matt, like what give me something to send us out here.
Man, bold statement about the league. Um, man, you put me on the spot. I don't know.
Who's like your
Hmm.
top give me like your top three teams to send us out here.
I would say top 3 would probably be
You
Snake.
can include yourself.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna judge you.
Snake, your brother, Mando, and myself.
Yep.
I think would be the top 3 rosters. I would say highest upside is probably you and who else had the high upside team? Was it?
Yeah, I would say Allen is in there with the
Yes, I think
Hurts
that
and
was.
his running
Yes,
backs and stuff.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely a good team.
yeah. I would say though, I just got a Yahoo ad. It's screaming in my headset. Um, but yeah, I would say that those are the top 3. You're there too, just with it's not so much that like obviously I don't hate your team at all. I would take those same guys too, but it's just like they're less proven and tougher to say like what they're gonna do. But if they do what we think they're gonna do this year, then yeah, you're right there at the top for sure.
Yeah. No real moves have been made in the league like to talk about yet. People add and drop in like defensive players. We got Aaron Donald on the waivers there. Could pick him up. But just that one trade between myself and Mando. If you guys are watching this, you guys want to make trades, go ahead. I would prefer people to make trades so we have something to talk about when we get on here, as opposed to just like who won and who lost. So I will encourage any and all trades. But overall, it was a good draft. I'm excited for the season. And leave a comment on the YouTube. If you guys are watching this, leave a comment and let us know who you think has the best team in the league. But with that being said, we'll see you after the week 1 games.